Good evening from the State of Kuwait. Welcome to the 7 o'clock news for Thursday, the 29th of January 2015. I am Dali Badran with the headlines for tonight. Kuwait marks the 9th anniversary of His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber AlSabah inauguration as the Amir of Kuwait. National Assembly Speaker says His Highness the Amir helped Kuwait make quantum leaps towards growth and development attested to by the whole world. Spain blames Israel for the death of a UN peacekeeper in Lebanon as the UN Security Council discusses the latest violence on southern Lebanon. Malaysia officially declares the disappearance of flight MH370 over the Indian Ocean an accident and says all people on board are presumed dead. Hello and welcome. Today marks the 9th anniversary of His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber AlSabah assumption as the Amir of the State of Kuwait. This year's anniversary comes after His Highness the Amir was honored by the United Nations as a humanitarian leader and the State of Kuwait as a humanitarian center. Salim Al-Ajmi has more in the following report.
Today marks the date where His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber AlSabah ascended to his role as the Amir of Kuwait. His Highness the Amir was heavily involved in the creation and establishment of the modern state of Kuwait. He also witnessed historical ups and downs in the region and all over the world. Since early 1950s of last century, His Highness the Amir has been involved in the formation of the modern-day state of Kuwait, leading to the independence of the country and the establishment of the constitution. Following the independence and the formation of the first government, His Highness Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed became the Minister of Development in 1962 and a member of the Constitutional Committee, which was assigned to prepare the constitution, as he was a member of the government. In 1963, Sheikh Sabah became the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He participated in raising the Kuwaiti flag in New York as Kuwait became a member of the United Nations. On this occasion, Sheikh Sabah delivered a speech before the UN where he expressed full awareness of the role played by the international organization. He said that Kuwaiti participation in international activity clearly indicates that the independence and membership in the UN are not the end goal. He added that it rather should lead to shouldering responsibility to achieve a better life for the people of Kuwait and the peoples of other countries. His Highness remained on his post as a foreign minister for decades, becoming one of the most prominent diplomats all over the world. He then became the Prime Minister of Kuwait. After the passing away of late Sheikh Jaber AlAhmed AlJaber AlSabah and the medical condition of late Father Amir Sheikh Saad Al-Abdullah Salim Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber AlSabah was chosen on the 29th of January 2006, the Amir of Kuwait, unanimously by the members of the National Assembly. On the occasion, His Highness called for working together for a new Kuwait with full confidence and purpose. He rallied Kuwaitis to move forward as time that never stops and never waits. Since then, His Highness has worked hard for his people and others with wisdom, generosity, and has revealed a humanitarian spirit and vision. His Highness the Emir's relentless humanitarian efforts were recently awarded with the United Nations honoring His Highness the Amir as a humanitarian leader and the State of Kuwait as a humanitarian center. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said His Highness the Amir has shown remarkable acts of human kindness and generosity. He also praised Kuwait's exemplary humanitarian leadership in the support of humanitarian operations in nations in crisis around the world. His Highness the Amir also moved forward the development of the country with his vision to transform Kuwait into a business and financial hub. His Highness has always been keen to implement the rule of law to ensure stability and justice in the country. The anniversary of His Highness the Emir's assumption to power is the best way to kick off the month of February, where Kuwaitis will continue to celebrate the National and Liberation Days.
The National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al-Ghanem said that since holding the reins of power 9 years ago, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber Al-Sabah has been influential in having Kuwait make quantum leaps towards growth and development attested to by the whole world. In a press statement on the 9th anniversary of His Highness the Emir's assumption of power, Al-Ghanem said His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah assumed power at a critical time of tension from which the whole region suffered, but His Highness managed to lead Kuwait to safety through his diplomatic and political potentials. He noted that His Highness the Emir's wisdom has also helped Kuwait avoid the negative impacts of the global financial crisis which had shaken up the world in 2008. His Highness the Emir has also helped protect Kuwait from the severe aftershocks of the political upheavals and dramatic developments many regional countries have undergone in the past few years. The chief lawmaker lauded His Highness the Emir's abidance by democratic values and provisions of the Constitution in handling the political tension and crisis in Kuwait. He then referred to the fruitful cooperation between the executive and legislative powers under His Highness the Emir's leadership to achieve a comprehensive development. Moreover, Al-Ghanem said the recent UN honoring and the proclamation of His Highness the Emir as a humanitarian leader in Kuwait as a humanitarian center has crowned years of relentless efforts by His Highness the Emir to ease the suffering of people in distress across the globe. Finally, Speaker Al-Ghanem wished His Highness the Emir everlasting well-being and Kuwait further prosperity and progress. The National Assembly today continued its 3 consecutive sessions with positive accomplishment. Parliament Speaker Marzouk Ali Al-Ghanem praised the accomplished work by the Assembly of several laws during the past 3 sessions, including the organization of the Collection of Arms, Ammunition and Explosives Act and the establishment of the Family Court. Here is more on the following report by Salim Al-Kandari.
After continuous parliamentary committees meetings and the positive executive constitutional cooperation, the Parliament Speaker Marzouk Ali Al-Ghanem said in the statement today that the National Assembly approved the organization of the collection of arms, ammunition and explosives laws and the addition of a substantive to the law number 32 of 1962 on the army, along with the establishment of the Family Court Act, which is one of the important laws, in addition to the discussion of the committees of the Council reports listed on the agenda. Several issues were debated, among them 7 items on which the request for discussion of 10 reports of commissions of inquiry and the Commission to Protect the Public Parliamentary Money, explaining that there are several reports since the year 2011 with no action taken that must be considered for furthermore discussions. The Assembly agreed to look up the delayed reports on February 10th session and move on after voting on them to the 10th section of the law. The Speaker also thanked all the MPs for the completion of these reports and added that a request was submitted to the Minister Council Office regarding the allocation of a meeting to discussing the laws that have been postponed. From the National Assembly, this is Salim Kandari reporting for the English News.
The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, who is also chairman of Saud Al-Nasir Al-Sabah Diplomatic Institute, presided over a meeting of the Institute's Board of Directors. The meeting reviewed the Institute's training plans and programs for the current year, which aim at raising the efficiency and skills of the Foreign Ministry personnel. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah received credentials of the newly appointed Ambassador of Mexico to Kuwait, Miguel Angel Isidro. The credential presentation ceremony was attended by the Foreign Undersecretary Khalid Sulaiman Al-Jarallah, Director of the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister's Office, Ambassador Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Muhammad Al-Sabah, Director of the Protocol Department, Ambassador Darya Ajran Al-Ajran, and a number of Foreign Ministry officials. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah received credentials of the newly appointed Ambassador of South Africa to Kuwait, His Excellency Mzoliza Bono. The credential presentation ceremony was attended by the Foreign Undersecretary Khalid Sulaiman Al-Jarallah, Director of the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister's Office, Ambassador Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Muhammad Al-Sabah, Director of the Protocol Department, Ambassador Darya Ajran Al-Ajran, and a number of Foreign Ministry officials. Law enforcers are gearing up for putting into effect the much overdue unlicensed firearms and ammunition law, which was passed by the Parliament this week. The Deputy Premier, Minister of Interior, Sheikh Mohammed Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, chaired a meeting for the Interior Ministry leaders to review and put the final touches to the security plans to enforce the law. Sheikh Mohammed Al-Khalid said the ministry has prepared a tight deployment plan to search for and bring to justice possessors of unlicensed firearms or ammunition in any part of the country. He stated that the ministry is also embarking on a nationwide media campaign to persuade those with unlawful weapons in their possession to hand them in the authority before the end of the 4 months grace period. The minister stressed that law enforcers will show due respect to the society traditions and the Islamic teachings during the inspection raids. He noted that the female officers will participate in the raids on Kuwaiti citizens' homes to inspect women's areas. He underlined that the law aims at boosting Kuwait's security and fighting the growing crimes. The law allows police, after taking proper authorization from the public prosecutor, to search any public location and private or public vehicles if there was a cause to believe the existence of unlicensed or unlawful firearms or ammunition. It also stipulates that people with unlicensed firearms and ammunition who choose to hand them in to authorities would be exempted from punishment. Such people have 4 months from the time this law is in effect to hand in their unlicensed weapons to be considered for exemption. As part of Kuwait's efforts to alleviate the suffering of the Syrian people, especially the Syrian refugees in Jordan and Lebanon, the Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs, along with other local institutions, launched a campaign to deliver aid to the Syrian refugees. The campaign, which is entitled Humanitarian Leader, came to Kuwait as Kuwait is preparing to host the 3rd Syrian Donors Conference. More in this report by Hiba Abdurrahman.
Kuwait's Minister of Justice and Minister of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs, Yaqub Al-Sana, announced the official launch of the Humanitarian Leader campaign in aid of the Syrian refugees in Jordan and Lebanon. The campaign is part of Kuwait's effort to meet the needs of Syrian refugees in the Kingdom of Jordan. The campaign takes place at a time when Kuwait is preparing to host the 3rd International Donor Conference, due in March, which stresses the importance of delivering a message to the world to support Syrian refugees who currently suffer severe and harsh climate conditions. Worth mentioning also that the importance of the Humanitarian Leader campaign as it comes as a response to wise directions of His Highness the Amir, Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber Al-Sabah, for all non-profit organizations, civil society institutions, and the Kuwaiti people to support Syrian refugees and alleviate their suffering. The campaign also highlights the significant efforts being exerted by Awqaf Ministry, the Zakat House, Kuwait Awqaf Public Foundation, International Islamic Charity Organization IICO, and the rest of the non-profit crew. Launching such a campaign came as a crowning moment for Kuwait's continued relief efforts for the Syrian refugees in the Kingdom of Jordan. The number of refugees in Jordan has now reached 1.5 million. The Kuwaiti minister's visit to Jordan and Lebanon to launch the campaign also includes IICO's chairman and Emirati UN advisor, Dr. Abdullah Al-Ma'tuq, Zakat House Director General Ibrahim Saleh, Deputy Secretary General at Kuwait Awqaf Public Foundation Mohammed Al-Jalahma, and Ahmed Al-Qarawi, Director of Media Department at Awqaf Ministry. From the Amiri Airport, I am Heba Abdurrahman reporting for English News.
Security was tightened on the Lebanon-Israel border a day after 2 Israeli soldiers and the Spanish peacekeeper were killed in an exchange of fire between Lebanese Hezbollah and Israel. Spain's ambassador to the United Nations today blamed Israel for the death of a Spanish UN peacekeeper who was killed during the Israeli military's exchange of fire with the Lebanese Hezbollah group. The peacemaker has been identified as Corporal Francisco Javier, and UN officials have said only that the cause of his death is under investigation. The Security Council condemned the peacekeeper's death in the strongest terms and offered its deepest sympathies. Lebanon's Hezbollah fired missiles at an Israeli military convoy in a disputed border area on Wednesday, killing 2 Israeli soldiers. The attack triggered deadly clashes that marked the most serious escalation since the 2006 war. Kurdish forces battled the so-called Islamic State fighters outside Kobani after Kurds said they had taken full control of the northern Syrian town following a 4-month battle. The town close to the Turkish border has become a focal point in the international fight against the IS. Kurdish forces say they now aim to liberate all villages near the Kobani area from the IS fighters. Fresh reports show that the town has been heavily damaged by the 4-month-long fighting that led tens of thousands of people to flee the area. Japan said it was studying the latest message reportedly from the IS group, which extends the deadline for Jordan's release of an Iraqi prisoner. Officials continued to discuss ways to free a Japanese journalist held by the militants. In Tokyo, Chief Cabinet Secretary said at a news conference they were dealing with the issue based on the firm trust between Japan and Jordan. The message was released online after Jordan offered to hand over Al-Qaeda-linked would-be suicide bomber to the IS in exchange for a Jordanian Air Force pilot. The recording said Jordan must present the suspect at the Turkish border by today in exchange for the Japanese detainee's life, or the pilot would be killed. The Malaysian government today officially declared the disappearance of Malaysian airline flight MH370 an accident and said that there were no survivors. No trace of the Beijing-bound aircraft has been found since it disappeared on the 8th of March 2014. Officials said that the recovery operation is ongoing, but that the 239 people on board are now presumed dead. The plane's whereabouts are still unknown despite a massive international search in the southern Indian Ocean. The declaration today should allow compensation payments to relatives of the victims. And finally tonight, at the end of this week's trading, a Kuwait stock exchange, the main indices closed with all boards on the losing end. KSX 15 recorded 1,072.7 points, losing 2.18 points, and the weighted index closed at 441.84 points, with a slight loss of 1.91 points. The price index ended trading at nearly 6,572 points, losing 64.33 points. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Before we end, here's a quick reminder of today's headlines. Kuwait marks the 9th anniversary of His Highness the Amir Sheikh Sabah AlAhmed AlJaber AlSabah inauguration as the Amir of Kuwait. A National Assembly Speaker says His Highness the Amir helped Kuwait make quantum leaps towards growth and development attested to by the whole world. Spain blames Israel for the death of a UN peacekeeper in Lebanon as the UN Security Council discusses the latest violence on southern Lebanon. Malaysia officially declares the disappearance of flight MH370 over the Indian Ocean an accident and says all people on board are presumed dead.